So I was watching the trailer for the new Falcon movie the other day, and seeing Harrison Ford turn into Red Hulk reminded me of how badly the MCU violated the Hulk. The Hulk got recast, nerfed, recharacterized, nerfed again, whooped, humiliated, and above all completely neglected. Thor has 4 solo movies and 4 movie appearances. Cap has 3 solo movies and 4 movie appearances. Iron Man has 3 solo movies and 7 movie appearances. Doctor Strange and or the Sorcerer Supreme has 2 solo movies and 5 movie appearances. Ant-Man has 3 solo movies and 3 movie appearances. But the Incredible Goddamn Hulk, one of Stan Lee's original characters, have only 1 solo movie and 5 movie appearances. But the recasted Mark Ruffalo Hulk only have the 5 movie appearances. And of those 5 movies, he was the main protagonist 0 times. That's right, goose egg. And with this new movie coming out, now Falcon is more prevalent in the MCU than the Hulk, because now Falcon got 1 solo movie and 6 movie appearances. And yeah, the Hulk was in a couple episodes of She-Hulk, but Falcon has his own TV show. I don't know why, but Kevin Feige clearly hates the Hulk, and most people now can feel the toxic femininity coming from Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. But I want to show you just how egregiously the MCU ripped off the Hulk's little green balls. Okay, let's start from the beginning. I mean the beginning. Many years ago, in 2003, where Marvel and Universal made the first Hulk movie. That Hulk movie was the OG Hulk movie. And it was a strange one. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but there were some strange directing choices that made the viewing experience annoying, to say the least. They cut important scenes short and elongated slow pointless scenes. It also had ridiculous transitions between every scene. I mean, it dead ass looked like an 8-year-old using PowerPoint for the first time. It's a 2-hour movie that felt like 4 hours. Either way, the plot explained Bruce's origin and focused on his relationship with his abusive father. There were some cool fights and some unique ideas, but overall the movie was slow and weird. It made about $113 million, so it wasn't a flop. It has a 60% audience and critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 5.6 IMDb score, so it was the definition of mid. Well, 2008 came around and the MCU debuted with Iron Man 1 in May. Okay? In May. Then the Incredible Hulk hit the theaters in June. Okay? Iron Man in May, Hulk in June. Some would consider this to be a dumb strategy when it comes to releasing movies. But I understand now that Feige was actually playing 4D chess. And I am simply too moronic to comprehend the strategy here. But that's not all. The highly anticipated Dark Knight released in July. So the Incredible Hulk released in between Iron Man 1, which made about $446 million, with both a critic and audience score over 90%, and The Dark Knight, which made $824 million, and also have both scores over 90%. Okay, so let's see what The Incredible Hulk made, while most likely still competing against Iron Man, which was probably still in theaters and doing well. It made, drumroll please, about $115 million. So yeah, turns out Feige wasn't playing 4D chess after all. He was playing Russian roulette, and he lost. So how did the movie score? 68 and 69%. Okay, so I guess this explains why people interpreted the results the way they did. The Incredible Hulk was a bit slower than Iron Man, it was less funny than Iron Man, and it was a little less profitable than Iron Man. So Iron Man became the template for every single MCU movie in existence. But The Incredible Hulk was an absolute treat for genuine Hulk fans. The reason why this movie felt so depressing when compared to the other MCU movies is because that's Bruce's story. That's what the tone of a Hulk movie is supposed to be. The Edward Norton Hulk was by far the most accurate portrayal of the Hulk, and it's not close. Regardless, the MCU wanted to separate themselves from the best Hulk movie and move in a brighter, more upbeat, funnier direction. So in order to help distinguish this new MCU Hulk from the Incredible Hulk, they had to drop Edward Norton, drop Elizabeth Ross as a Marvel character entirely, and give our big green buddy some extra muscle juice and a new haircut. Now we're ready to turn the Hulk into a big green clown. And as far as the Edward Norton stuff go, Basically, he got labeled difficult for being too passionate about the writing side of the production. If only Marvel still had people like Edward working in their studios now. You know, the type of people that actually give a fuck. But instead, they hired someone more agreeable. A man so blockheaded he looks identical to his Lego counterpart, Mark Ruffalo. Mark is a bad choice for Bruce just off of looks alone. For one, he already looked like the Hulk without transforming. Look at this man. He don't look like a monster in the face. On the other hand, Edward was skinny, so his Hulk felt like its own character. The Hulk and Bruce are supposed to be two different characters that eventually work together to defeat the villain, but not in the MCU. Ruffalo Hulk is just Green Ruffalo now. And when we finally got the Hulk on his own in Ragnarok, he was just a big stocky baby. Of course, the smooth-brained man-child Taika Waititi would interpret the Hulk not being able to speak fluid English or control his rage as him being a fucking toddler. Yes, he's a rage monster, but the Hulk has a will. He could have been so much more interesting, but no, Taika Waititi had to turn every second of Ragnarok into a slapstick comedy. Waititi didn't just make Hulk annoying as fuck, he completely nerfed him, specifically his durability. Hulk's durability has basically been completely dropped from his abilities list. Why? Because of laziness. Let's go back to Age of Ultron. Wanda just jumbled up everybody's brain. Captain America was still cool though, cause you know, he got the goat sauce pumping through his veins. But Iron Man was also good, so he called down the Hulkbuster. And of course, Hulk wasn't tolerating no potential ops on his block, so they started fighting. It was cool and entertaining, cool. But Black Widow was out of it, so the writers had to find a way to defeat the Hulk without anyone there to calm him down. So what they chose to do was make Banner regain a bit of control. Then they had Tony knock his ass clean out.
You got knocked the fuck out!
Now originally, I hated this, but I didn't trip about it because I get what they was going for with that. He calmed down, so that's how Tony knocked him out. But this still sets a precedence for the Hulk's durability. He can be knocked out now. You're seen differently after that first time you get KO'd, that's all I'm saying. If you're going to make the Hulk get dropped, you gotta be careful who you choose to do it. Hulkbuster? I don't know, man. If Hulkbuster can knock him out, then a lot of people can knock him out. There's a lot of big ass robots in Marvel. I personally would have had Nat show up. Despite being mentally unstable, it would show how dedicated she was to her mission, and it would have shown how dedicated she is to Bruce. And of course, she wouldn't be able to perform the lullaby properly in her mental state. But her being there, basically in harm's way, could have made the Hulk calm down and transform back to avoid hurting her. It could have been an important moment for the development of their relationship. And you know what? I'm just gonna say it. Black Widow and Banner is a ugly ass couple. Why didn't they ever recast Betty Ross? There's no real relationship between Bruce and Black Widow. They basically got shipped together in between Avengers 1 and 2, which is especially awkward because also in between Avengers 1 and 2 was Captain America Winter Soldier, in which Marvel established a fun, flirty chemistry between her and Captain America, which I rather enjoyed. And then when you include the fact that Cap's whole character arc is him accepting that he was no longer the man that wanted to stop fighting, it makes perfect sense. Cap doesn't want a housewife and kids, and Black Widow can't be a housewife with kids. These were the two most tapped in Avengers out of everyone. And even at the end of Avengers 2, after everybody dipped off, it was these two who was there to train the benchwarmer Avengers. They're always on the job together. They were the perfect couple. But no, they had to make Nat fall for the nerd and make Captain America bang his niece. So dumb. And now that Thunderbolt Ross is going to be playing a much more crucial role in the MCU, these fart faces actually brought back Liv Taylor as Betty Ross and Tim Blake Nelson as Sam Stern. They literally avoided using any of the side characters from the Incredible Hulk for a decade and a half, just to bring them back after Thanos gave the Hulk a manual sex change. If you're gonna recast Bruce, then recast Betty. Duh. Instead, they make Nat have a random love affair with Bruce for one movie. And this is how the green ass rage monster reacted to finding out she died for them.
Huh? What do you do? What do you do?
Just ask him a question.
Yeah, no, you're acting like she's dead. Why are we acting like she's dead? We have the stones, right?
It's supposed to be me.
She's not coming back.
Look at him. This is the type of shit you do when you play a sport and you know you're the reason the whole team lost and you don't give a singular so you just throw something random and try to act like you mad. You look exactly like this. He don't even get mad when his girlfriend dies. But why? Let's reminisce a bit. What led to Bruce hijacking Hulk's body? Yes, Infinity War. The Hulk versus Thanos. Now before I talk about the generational beating that Thanos put on the Hulk, I want to talk about how I wasn't surprised by the generational beating Thanos put on the Hulk. Remember when I said it was important to be careful when choosing who can bluntly knock the Hulk out? Well, in between Hulkbuster dropping the Hulk and Thanos dropping the Hulk, Thor dropped the Hulk when he discovered at 1500 years old that he had lightning powers. So Thanos putting the beats on the Hulk wasn't surprising at all. It was annoying to watch though. The Hulk should absolutely be more of a nuisance to Thanos. But after the big happy bitch got body slammed, he turned back into Banner and never came back. The Hulk as a character dies after Infinity War. But before the Hulk character dies, he gotta get humiliated a couple more times first. So for the rest of the Infinity War movie, Hulk refuses to fight anyone else. Thanos gave the Hulk PTSD so bad he became a pacifist. And you know what really burns my balls? Is if this happened to any of the characters in the MCU, they would have gotten some character development to rediscover themselves. But one of the original Marvel characters, OG Avengers, can't even get that much. Silly me, I was optimistic after Infinity War. I was like, yeah, Hulk is definitely going to be much stronger during his rematch with Thanos. Boy, was I naive. Hulk is gone forever. It's just bitch ass Mark Ruffalo in green skin. And they didn't even show the viewers how any of this happened. They gave the Hulk a lame ass personal journey of sticking Mark Ruffalo's face on the Hulk's body, and then they skipped the whole journey. How did he take over Hulk's powers? And why is this supposed to be a good thing anyway? Bruce can't fight. Another thing I noticed is how arrogant Bruce is with the Hulk's powers. He's basically Superman except much weaker and slower, and without heat vision, and without x-ray vision, and without super senses, and without frost breath. A pacifist Hulk is pointless. He's literally big for no reason. He dead ass can't even fit in cars. Which actually brings up my next point. She-Hulk. First and foremost, I gotta talk about the MCU shows, cause I know most people haven't seen every series, but I have, so that makes me an expert. The biggest issue with the MCU TV shows is that they're all in the same universe as the movies. And if you're thinking, isn't that the whole point of the MCU? I say to you, it don't have to be. I think some things should feel disconnected from the main Avengers stuff, just like Guardians of the Galaxy used to. But all these series take place on Earth, which means every ridiculous thing that happens on these shows is technically the Avengers' problem, but they never show up. In this, She-Hulk is special. She-Hulk does extreme damage to the MCU world building and all of the characters involved. The She-Hulk show is basically a cringe-ass feminist law comedy without any law or comedy. The writers of this show clearly never watched a single episode of Law & Order. Look at this scene right here. So Jen is in court being the world's shittiest lawyer, right? Then randomly, some crazy person breaks through the wall.
Oh yeah!
Jen, of course, hulks out and saves all the people. And her firm blamed her for the case being thrown out as if a fucking supervillain knocking down walls wouldn't cause an automatic mistrial on its own. High key, Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law is a better law comedy show than She-Hulk. The 2021 spinoff Bird Girl is low-key a better feminist law comedy. She-Hulk is literally the worst so-called law show I've ever seen in my life. But I'm not gonna focus on how stupid this show was. I'm instead gonna focus on the extra character damage this show did to Bruce. First of all, Bruce's healing factor doesn't work, so his arm is still fucked up from Endgame. Mind you, Hulk's healing factor is comparable to Wolverine's, it's just not as quick. And if you're about to say, well, that's because the Infinity Stones are a different type of damage, then explain to me why She-Hulk's blood healed his arm. So yeah, the Infinity Stones are not special. Bruce just have weak ass blood now. Now let's talk about the assassination of Bruce's character. After the car accident and Jen went green for the first time, she ran through the forest until turning back into Jen. Then she went into a bar bathroom where some girls gave her a makeover. I know, just bear with me. And she went outside afterwards. Then a perfectly interracial group of Disney bullies says hi to her.
What's up?
And she says,
How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
maybe it's because he's black. Then she starts walking away. So what do you think the Disney bullies did next? A, go back inside the bar since one woman wouldn't be enough for 3 dudes. B, stop talking to her because she's mid anyway and they're clearly making her uncomfortable. Or C, get weird and rapey and surround her. If you guess C, then you're smarter than you look. As a response to this, Jen hulks out and Bruce tackles her. Cut to black. Jen wakes up at Bruce's house. And this is where the character assassination starts to get heavy. Since a character can't be smarter than the person writing them, Bruce will be Looney Tunes levels of stupid. He needs to run tests on Jen because she's a Hulk now. It's a big deal. So instead of doing some sciencey shit like he did in the Incredible Hulk and testing her blood, he traps her in a death machine to see if stress triggers her transformation. He deadass almost kills his little cousin, and this is his face. Maybe use a small electric shock to raise her heart rate, or even have her run in place. What the fuck is this ridiculous ass contraption? When will he ever need to use a wall of circular saws? This is literally some Dr. Doofenshmirtz shit. Is this machine specifically for killing someone in the messiest, most unnecessary way possible? Because I don't see any other uses for it. Then when Jen starts talking as Jen, showing she has full control of her Hulk form, he's jealous, not intrigued. Did the writers forget that Bruce is a scientist? I also want to point out the fact that when Jen started talking as herself, Bruce asked her this.
Wait, you're still Jen? Right now?
Yeah. And I'm conscious.
This is incredible. You don't have an alter ego. You're the only one in there?
As far as I can tell.
This is huge, Jen. I think I'm jealous. Is that what I'm feeling? I'm feeling. You don't have another guy to wrestle with for 10 years.
Other guy? That's still how you refer to the Hulk, is just some other guy? Really? After he gave you his powers and fucked off into oblivion. So it seems like Bruce and Hulk never actually got on the same page. Bruce just killed him and stole his powers. And I'm just gonna say it. This is cultural appropriation. He's wearing green face, cancel him. So after that, Bruce is, for whatever reason, insistent on Jen being a superhero, which is so meta. Like, Bruce, chill. You should be concerned with Jen's health, both as a scientist and as her loving big cousin. Why are you talking about her being a damn superhero? Just help her control her powers so nobody gets hurt. But in the real world, we know that She-Hulk is a superhero. So the garbage ass writers let their meta knowledge leak into the script again. Bruce wouldn't do this. She just got her powers last night. They both should want to understand more. But Jen, being the selfish douchebag that she is, wants to go back to her life as a trash lawyer. And Bruce just wants her to be an Avenger. Also, Bruce got ran over by a Jeep. Ruffalo Hulk, Incredible Hulk. Just saying. Then at the end, he had a little Hulk Jr. And like, stuff like this is why I believe there's no saving the MCU. How does this make sense? What, Bruce have Hulk sperm now? Fuck it, why not? And let's just pretend that giving birth to a Hulk baby wouldn't cause a normal woman to explode. So yeah, another derivative spin-off character. Just what the doctor ordered. Bro, this new phase of heroes all have the same origin story. I knew one of the original heroes and they gave me their powers. This new generation of heroes is so lame. Speaking of which, Captain America Brave New World. The villain will apparently be the Red Hulk, so I have to wonder, will they let the Hulk fight his own main villain? Because Thunderbolt Ross is and have always been the Hulk's main villain, ever since the Incredible Hulk. And we all know Captain Falcon can't get in the paint with Red Hulk, so who's gonna show up to save this man? Because as of right now, Mark Ruffalo is not credited anywhere in this movie. Realistically, Red Hulk should be a villain to a Hulk movie, but MCU is determined to pretend the Hulk doesn't exist. But you can't convince me the MCU don't hate the Hulk. At the very least, he should pop up in Brave New World to help Falcon out. And it would be nice to see him reunite with Betty. This will be the first MCU movie she had since Incredible Hulk. So they gotta have at least one conversation. But only time will tell. I'll do a follow-up video after I watch the movie. Well, that's all. Thanks for watching. Peace.